Imagine what learning may look like under open skies, breathing fresh air, and through observing the nature around us. Well, today on the Parenting Reboot, I am joined by Nidhi Bennur. She is the co founder of the Youth Cosmo, a for profit eco learning initiative which is based in Pune, India. They are trying to build a community driven, nature first learning spaces that offer families a real alternative to the excessive screen time and super structured childhood that everyone is experiencing. Nidhi leads the organization's partnership and community engagement initiatives. She's also coordinating something called the Stories of Nature, a large scale environment film screening program that brings compelling conversations about sustainability into classrooms in cities like Pune, Bangalore, and Mumbai. So, let's explore what play and nature based learning looks like. Welcome, Nidhi.
Thank you so much, Deepa. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm really looking forward to having a great conversation with you and try and answer as many questions as I can.
So I was just going through the Youth Cosmos website and it looks so fun. Like it reminds me, it gives me this nostalgic perspective of like what growing up in India was like. I grew up in Pune and, we used to have such like small community based initiatives back then when we would go hiking together or, have Saturdays out in the open. So tell us about like where this inspiration came from and what does the Youth Cosmos stand for?
So, Youth Cosmo, basically, as we call it, it's a nature education initiative, and the whole idea is to let children fall in love with nature. And there are various means to do it, either through beautiful experiential literature or taking them out in natural spaces or indulging them in free, unstructured play. So, free, unstructured play is the central focus of anything and everything that we do at Youth Cosmo. And we try to involve children in these kind of activities as much as possible. We create resources, we create games, we create periodicals which children and families, they can use at their end and involve children in these kind of activities on a regular basis. So Youth Cosmo is all about, as I said, making children fall in love, but through the mode of a nature based education. So that's what we're trying to do. And if I have to talk about where this whole idea of Youth Cosmo came from, I would like to just quote the concept of ikigai. It's very famous. Everybody knows about it. It's Youth Cosmo stands at the center of four questions or, four ideas. One is what you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, and what people are ready to pay you for. So Youth Cosmos stands at the focus of all these four circles where we want to do something good. We want to do something impactful and not just create an organization for the sake of it. But at the same time, we want to be sustainable. We want more and more children to be impacted by it, more families and more communities to be a part of this whole movement of being one with nature. So the idea is not to have children, eventually all of them turn into ecologists or take nature-based careers, but the idea is the generation that comes up next, it should at least be one with nature. Factor in nature in everything that you do, because we feel there's a huge disconnect that children today have with nature, which we call as nature deficit disorder. So that is something that we are trying to address at the core through all our initiatives and all our activities.
So, how long has it been since the Youth Cosmo was founded? I believe it was sometime around the pandemic.
Just after the pandemic, you can say somewhere in late 2022. So we are close to 4 years now.
Wow. So, that pandemic, I mean, that time would have probably been such a, like, you would have sensed or seen how much of a, like, impact that digital classrooms and social media and all of these things were starting to have on kids, starting to have on families. So, there would have been this real need for, like, take a break from the screens and go like observe the nature and learn something from it, right?
Yeah, that was a huge factor in helping us in helping the idea of Youth Cosmo to be born. When we were looking at children being at home all the time, and there was no way that they could go out. It's not about they not wanting to go out, but then there was no connection we felt that children had with their own surroundings. Going out doesn't mean going out in a forest or going to the side of a river, but at least indulging in small little things right in your backyard, observing things outside the window, observing
Yeah.
birds outside your window, or
Yeah.
indulging in some gardening, taking care of plants. Small little things like these also we found to be largely missing in the lives of children today. And not to mention the heavy indulgence and the heavy influx of screen and digital exposure that children have right from their early years, which we didn't have when we were kids. So that propelled us to come up with the idea of Youth Cosmo and how we can bring about a more responsible, sensitive, and a conscious generation through our efforts.
So, Nidhi, walk us through what like an ideal day or a weekend at the Youth Cosmo looks like. Like you have kids joining you, you probably also have parents and some of these experts joining you. What all do you discover and do together?
So we do a bunch of things, as you just mentioned. We have something called as a Earth Katta that happens, one of the Sundays in a month where we have children, parents, educators, we all come together. We take up any theme around nature and ecology, and then we have games, we have activities, we have conversations, we have quizzes, we run around, we have movements, we have a lot of things that we do. Parents and the grown-ups are an equal part active participants in the whole activity. Like once we had a katta based on birds,
Mm,
and there was an activity where the grown-up birds had to feed the young birds. We were
mm,
talking about bird beaks that time, different types of beaks, and why different birds have different types of beaks, and then what kind of food are they meant to eat with those birds with those beaks. So to help children understand that activity, we had a game, where the parents had made beaks using ice cream sticks. They had to pick up small murmura or some small little snacks, and they had to feed their chicks. And so the children were made to scream like young chicks in the nest, and the parents had to pick it up and put it in their mouth. So that
oh.
was an activity where, even parents had fun, children had fun, and in that whole fun experience, they learned about different beaks that birds had and what kind of food that they eat. So yeah,
Hmm.
that was the whole idea.
Wow. And you also mentioned like two things I heard was periodicals and games. Can you
Yeah.
elaborate a bit on both of those
Yes.
pieces and
Yes.
what kind of reception you're getting to these resources?
So the Youth Cosmo periodical is the first step with which the whole effort of Youth Cosmo started, because we all the three of us, we are three co-founders, and we come from a strong background of marketing, content, design, and that is our strongest area. And my other two co-founders being parents to a son themselves, their experience as parents played a crucial role in shaping Youth Cosmo as it is today. The Youth Cosmo periodical being a starting point, it's a beautiful, immersive, visually appealing literature,
Hmm.
which is nothing like the school textbooks that children read. There are stories, there are poems, there are activities, there are quizzes, there are riddles, there are stuff to cut. They cut and paste, they have photographs, they have blurbs on what they can do, the different careers, lot of things, that it is packed in a 20 pager, nicely sized periodical that children can just spread it out on their lap and, just dive in. So
Hmm.
that's what the Youth Cosmo periodical is. And this periodical is published once every 2 months and on different themes of nature and sustainability. And we have already published 14 different unique issues so far. So
Hmm.
and we have subscribers all over India. We have a lot of subscribers that are based outside India. This
Wow.
is available in print as well as in the digital formats. So all our subscribers who are based outside India do subscribe to us digitally. And we also, this is about the periodical. And the next part, what you asked was about the games.
Y- y-
So games is the latest addition to the Youth Cosmo shop or Youth Cosmo products. These games are inspired by Indian vernacular games. Okay.
Hmm.
So we feel that grandparents, their parents and grandparents, they had a better connection with nature And
Hmm.
the most instrumental key in all of that were the games that they played.
Hmm.
Our ancestors, our forefathers, they were more in close contact with nature. And the games that you see that they used to play was all about what they were observing and experiencing day in, day out. So with the games, they could understand relationships between predator and prey. They could understand
Hmm.
how an ecosystem worked. They were there was less of a conflict with the wildlife that stayed with them. They were more in synchrony. They were more respectful about each
Yeah.
other's boundaries. So all of that you get to learn in our ancestral games. So the games that we have are inspired by our vernacular games, by our traditional games. And we have four different games that we have released. One is Tiger and Goat. Then second one is 16 Soldiers. Third is Chaukabara. And the fourth is Vimanam. So all these four games are available to buy, and they'll be up on our shop in a few days. Yeah, and these are available. They can just anybody who's interested can just DM us, and we can source it to them. So they are
Wow.
all also the way these games are made is also a very integral part of the ethos of Youth Cosmo. We truly believe in absolutely zero waste lifestyle, and that actually resonates in all the literature also that goes out. Even
Hmm.
whatever we talk, whatever we explain in our periodicals also talks a lot about this. So all these games are cut printed on cloth. There is not a single shred of plastic that is in the games, which is very different from the games that you find out in the market today. There's zero plastic, there is zero waste, and yeah, you can reuse it for anything, if at all, after so many years of using your games. So that's the whole idea of everything that we do at Youth Cosmo.
Yeah, the beauty to like what you're expressing and explaining is that like it's not just eco-friendly and unique, but the fact that it is so hyper contextualized to, the origins or the root or that nostalgic aspect of where these games originated from, or even the content you're putting out through your periodicals is so fascinating and inspiring because in an age where everything is digital, you hardly get to see not just kids, even adults sit down with like a periodical or a book, something so physical, right? And it's very important to have that physical connection to,
Yes,
resources that you're consuming because it activates a different part of your brain and a different part to your personality, right? So,
true.
which is why in this next part, I want to pivot and talk a bit more about like play based childhood, right? Like, I
Mhm.
see that the Youth Cosmos trying to bring that through your eco learning initiatives. And like, of course, parents are constantly stuck in this battle between screen time and, getting their kids to get up and be more active and stop using screens too much. And like, what I want to understand is from your experience building an ecosystem like this, if somebody were to replicate something similar anywhere else, what would the basics be? What would like a playbook be if someone wants to get up and get a community driven ecosystem going on?
So there's a long answer to this. Okay, I can't just go directly to the answer. I'll just give you a very routed answer to this.
Yeah.
Uh, we feel that, and we have observed this very closely. When we were children, we did not have screens so much as a part of our lives as it is today. So if you were to compare millennial children with the current Gen Z kids, you will see that screens and information overload is children are exposed to this right from the time that they start recognizing things around them.
Yeah.
So they have a sensory blast of information. Screens are there everywhere. And that is what has made them the way they are today. If you
Hmm.
compare them to millennials, they are more emotionally sensitive, but at the same time, their brain is programmed to have the dopamine influx, the information influx constantly, because of which they get instant gratification. On the other hand, when we were children, we did not have these kind of influx of information. Our human mind is wired in such a way that it is in a constant state of unrest. We want to do something. We want to do something. That's the reason why we are the way we are as a civilization, as a species. So when we were children, we did not have all these kind of gadgets and screens around. We found ways to entertain ourselves. We found things to do. We used to do a lot of things, and I'm sure many other parents of our
Yeah.
generation would resonate with that. But today, what has happened is because there is this thing called screen, okay? Children don't find the need to go out.
Hmm.
They don't find the need to go out. They don't feel the need to talk to their neighbors. That is one thing. They don't have many friends in the building or in the apartment where they go and play together, sans the screen. Somewhere the roots of this also has a bearing, also has in their parents, where we are also not so social with our neighbors. Families are nuclear. Like when we were kids, we used to stay with our grandparents, we used to stay with our uncles and aunties, and there's just somebody or the other in the home, in the house, with whom used to play, talk, run around, whatever, tell stories to each other. But now that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Parents are busy. They don't, they're not able to give time to their kids, and because of that sheer guilt, at times they tend to give and pamper children with whatever they require, and nobody's to blame them. It's just the way things are.
Yeah.
So this is how the scenario is today, and that is what has led to a very screen heavy life that children have. This is point one. Point two is our education system is so structured. Okay. It's not just the education system, it's even the life that is so structured. Like you
Yeah.
imagine the child's day. Okay. Wake up, get ready, go to school, come back, have food, go to a class, come back, go to some robotics class, come back, go to a karate class, come back, have food, sleep.
Yeah.
There's so much structure in everything that children nowadays don't know how to be slow. They don't know what to do if there is no stimuli. You make them sit down for 15 minutes without giving them any information, without giving them any screen, without telling them what to do. They start getting restless. करना क्या है मालूम नहीं है. They have
Yeah.
never known what to do about it, how to kill time.
Mm.
We had all the time. We just had to find means to kill time. That's the difference. And so at Youth Cosmo, whenever we conduct our kattas or we take them out for our open sky classrooms, or even the activities that we give in the periodicals, they're all about children sitting down and doing something with their hands.
Mm.
Like find stuff around yourself. Use sticks, use stones,
Mm.
use seed, use leaves, use paper, use mud, use whatever, and find some kabadi in your house and turn it into something amazing. So that is what all this is about. Like, if I have to give you an example, in one of our kattas, the activity that we had that day was unstructured play. That was
Mm.
the activity. And for 1 hour, we told the kids, you find whatever you can around. We did this on the Tekri. Okay, if you since you're a Punekar, you know Vetal Tekri. So we did this on Vetal Tekri, and we had told the children, okay, for 1 hour, you have to find whatever you can around you and build the tallest structure. That was the brief. They found sticks, stones, coconut leaves, pata nahi kya kya, whatever they could find, and they built a tall structure. And that's what they kept doing for an hour.
Mm.
Somebody built a whole crane, someone built a rocket with a launcher and everything, just out of sticks, stones, and leaves. There was nothing else. And what we have observed in this process is when children are given, when they're asked to be out in the nature and the stimuli that they get from the nature, they tend to forget about gadgets.
Mm.
They don't need screen. They don't miss
Yeah.
screens. They don't miss their gadgets. So when we go out for our open sky classroom excursions also, gadgets are a strict no. Nobody
Mm.
complains that I don't have a phone, I don't have my iPad, I don't have my smartwatch, I don't have my video games, I don't have my PS4. Nobody complains. For 5 days, they are in nature completely, 100%, from morning 4 a.m. to night 10:30 p.m.
Wow.
So unstructured play, when you get children out in the nature and you find ways to indulge, find ways for them to indulge in nature, screen automatically takes a backseat. It's just, if parents have to start this somewhere, I would say they must start from, at least having a dedicated no screen time at home. And
Mm.
why at home? And that has to be adhered to by the parents also, because children imitate what parents do. As parents, we are stressed out the whole day, we are at work, and agree to it or not, phones give us instant gratification.
Yep.
Dopamine shot to hai.
Yeah.
Children see us do, scroll, be happy about it, and they also tend to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So if there is a screen free time at home, both the parents and children adhere to it, all of them decide to do something together, then children will get used to the fact that, okay, for an hour, I am not supposed to do anything with the screen. I need to find ways to entertain myself.
That's so when it comes to applying this these same values in a large scale community setting, be it like as part of a school, as part of your society, it's easier to form this by simply starting with a no screen habit and by simply dedicated an hour a day or like an hour a week, just exploring the nature and letting just kids be kids, right? That's
Yes,
kind of the takeaway I'm getting.
yes, yes. And for communities, as we say, see, many parents want to do this. Many parents
Yeah.
are looking for avenues to involve their kids in a screen free environment. They just don't know how.
Mm,
The first step is parents also should feel the same, okay, I need to give this to my kid. And once that need comes in, if parents also realize, okay, this is the problem, they will take efforts to,
mm,
find ways to indulge their child in it. Then out of those group of, let's say, five parents, there'll be one parent who will be, more might take an initiative. Okay, all five of us come together one Saturday every afternoon, and we'll figure out one game that, kids can play together without any screen or anything. So it
mm,
can start as small as that.
mm,
We have all these projects, we have all these activities that we have outlined in our periodicals. Parents can use that as a guidebook to do one activity every week. You know,
mm,
it can start as small as that. Involve children in your household activities. Like, okay, now this is summers in Pune. Like when I was a kid, summers meant, making amras. So
yeah.
my grandmother used to make us all cousins sit with, some 20 mangoes, sit and squeeze it. That's a whole 2 hour activity. काम भी हो जाता है, kids are also engaged.
Engage in something. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the kind of small little hacks we need to refine, reinvent, maybe talk to our parents, our grandparents, bring
Yeah.
back those ideas and implement it. That's probably how it will start, because not all cities or places in different countries around the world have access to good natural spaces.
I'm
All
sure.
those countries that are endowed with forest, green patches, good ecosystem, they can definitely take their kids out more regularly. In places like Middle East where the weather is so relentless, it's difficult to do that. That's where parents will have to probably find ways to indulge kids in some hands-on activities and play indoors to begin with, but that has to start small somewhere.
I agree with it 100%. Regardless of the weather, you don't have to do this alone. Like, gather a group of five other families or three other families who have kids the same age. Meet one Sunday afternoon in one of your places and come up with five activities you can do that afternoon where none of you are touching screens, right? And I often find it fascinating that you mentioned this, like even the Earth Katta or the activities that the Youth Cosmo is doing, it's a strict no devices, no technology policy. Look at us. We're a generation that can't go without capturing sunset time lapses. Like we climb up the mountain top with so much effort and we go there thinking, we're going to capture this sunset, not with our eyes, but with our phones, right? Because everything
True.
needs to be filtered and Instagrammable. And the same thing is what our kids are picking up, right? Like any moment they're like, give us the phone. We want to also take a photo or a video, right? So to be able to get out of that loop that you don't have to capture every moment of things you're doing. Simplest things can also be just done for your own sake.
You just experience it, slow down, breathe in. So that's
Yeah.
what we do when we take children out in the open. We just tell them, maybe in the mornings when we're out there in the forest, just be quiet for 5 minutes. Just close your
Yeah.
eyes and just listen to the birds chirping around you. Try to find how many different sounds of birds can you listen to. And they do.
Wow.
Try and touch different leaves, see how they feel different,
Yeah.
different textures. This is how you need to sort of figure out ways to create different activities for children to involve themselves in.
So, like, give me a perspective of one of the children or a family that's engaged with the youth cosmos for the last 3 years. Let's say they've participated in your events. You've seen the children grow, join you in different activities. What are some of the shifts you have noticed? Maybe in their mindset, in their habits, or the things that parents have shared with you ever since they started doing these nature-based learning.
Some really tremendous things that we have come across, and we were so glad that we are adding value. So there is this child that comes from very far off area in Pune. Okay, that's almost like 15 to 18 kilometers away. So they come from that corner of the city every time to Arkatta. He comes for all our excursions. They are our subscribers since day one. And the family, they're very close to us now. They have become our friends also. So
Mm.
I remember them sort of telling us after, I think, the third or the fourth katta that my son, he segregates plastic at home. So he said, my son started doing this activity. So he segregates plastic, all different types of plastics, wet waste different, dry waste different. And he was hardly 9 years old then. So now that has become an active habit in the house. They segregate plastic at the source. They try not to bring plastic in at home. They take their own cutlery. They take their own plates whenever they go out. The the places of vacations that they choose now, that has also changed. They look for more natural spaces instead of going to a very touristy commercial spot. They look for more quiet. They look for more nature. They look for taking the child out in the nature, where there is no distraction. There is no humdrum everywhere. So that's the way the family itself has also evolved and changed with us. Then there's another girl. I mean, her father is a veg trekker, so that was one reason why they also became a part of Youth Cosmo. But then getting her also to be to you know like trekking, involve herself in climbing. So that has also increased a lot for her as a child ever since she has been a part of us. And there is this one saying that goes in Marathi. Okay, चालता चालता बघणं, बघता बघता चालणं. When people
Yeah.
trek, okay, trekkers usually walk first and look later. People who like to be in nature, they look first and walk. So observation comes first. So she has started observing a lot of things as she walks along, simple, simple things that she sees around. And when you go with her, you can see that she's observing. She can spot birds, she can spot different plants, she can spot different trees, she can spot small insects and understand why this is the way this is. So we have seen these kind of changes in our community children vividly over the last 3.5 years.
It's so heartwarming, right? To see kids
Yes,
in
it is.
action outside of the Youth Cosmo, right? Like doing it as part of Earth Kata or as part of one of your sessions makes sense. You're asking the kids to do it, but like outside of that, to be able to do that in their homes, in their professional settings or personal spaces, it's very heartwarming to hear that that's the kind of impact you're having.
I mean, many couple of in one of our periodicals, the oceans issue, when it was released, I had one of our parents, share a photo. There was an activity in the periodical that you have to make ocean zones
Mm.
using different liquids, water, ink, and everything. So she sent photos of the child and the father sitting through Sunday afternoon doing this activity. And they sent a picture of my two kids, my husband and my child, are sitting together and doing the ocean level activity from the
Wow.
periodical. That was so nice for us to know. And another time, another parent shared, my kid now, instead of watching TV while eating food, she's solving puzzles while eating food.
Wow. That's
So
that's complete shift, right? Like
complete shift.
from
Yes.
one of the things that I also want to explore with you is what is next for the Youth Cosmo? And I mean, in terms of like, are you planning to expand it to other cities outside of Pune? And what would it look like also for families who are interested in being a part of this, such a community, especially the Youth Cosmo, who are living outside of India? Like both of those.
So our periodicals and games, they are anyway open to everybody in India. Okay, it's pan India available. Our digital periodicals are also available for our users outside of India. So anybody from any corner of the world can actually have access to our periodicals, and those living in India can actually get the physical copies and the physical games from here. That's A. If you're talking about activities like Katta, Katta is right now centered in Pune, but we'll now be venturing into Mumbai very soon. Our open sky classrooms happen in different parts of the country. Right now, focused around Maharashtra, Central India, and Karnataka, but we'll soon be expanding our locations as well. But we already have children who join us from places as far as Bangalore, Goa. They're already coming and being a part of our excursions. Katta is something that is just localized to Pune at the moment because we will be doing this now in Mumbai very soon. But our products are available for anybody to access it from anywhere, and our periodicals.
Wow, that's lovely. I only ask that because, like, not just my audience, like a lot of families are constantly trying to find resources or ways to keep their child engaged and make
Yes,
sure that they have like a well-rounded upbringing, which is not heavily tech and screen focused. So
correct,
such
correct,
kind of
correct.
solutions are very important to access,
Absolutely.
to know that these resources exist, right? So it's kind of really Amazing. Let's talk about technology, social media, and AI led future. Where does the Youth Cosmo fit into all of it? Like, I know you said you print periodicals. Do you think something like this can continue to be sustainable, or do you see yourself pivoting, or using technology in a different way, in a more sustainable way to, help the Youth Cosmo reach a larger audience?
So, see, we cannot run away from the way the world is going. Okay, we can't run away from tech, but we need to find a balance of both worlds. We never say that you should take out screens and digital and tech out of your life. That is not possible because
Yeah.
it's just the way the world is operating right now. So, as an organization, also, we will be using technology to make our vision and our ethos and this impact more accessible to people around the world so that more and more people can actually use this to create communities of their own, have different activities, involve children in their communities to into this thought process more and more. We are trying right now. We are addressing an age group of 7 to 16, and we plan to go beyond that as well. We plan to include youth also into this whole thought process. Create some immersive experiences for them. Create some immersive learning opportunities for them. Volunteering opportunities for them, connect with more and more like-minded organizations so that children can get exposure to this world in a more better way.
Mhm.
When you talk about environment, when you talk about ecology, it is all centered around a couple of subjects at school. This has to go beyond that. You're talking about environment is outside your house majorly. So it all starts with how you want your kids to fall in love with nature, and that also starts with parents falling in love with nature. If
Yep.
there is a construct in the house, the nowadays a lot of people are nature phobic. They find nature to be dangerous. They find, sorry, nature to be, eek or dirty, or they have all these kind of negative connotations when you talk about being out in nature, being out raw in the nature. So that is something that needs to first be neutralized, subdued, so that children start falling in love with nature. They start feeling belonged. They start accepting nature that, okay, I am a part of this. Nature is not different from me. We have come way later on this planet because all the other species have been around way before us. It's a question of acceptance. It is a question of coexistence. It's a question of how do I do what do I do without harming those that live around me.
Hmm.
So, coming back to your questions, to your initial question, if with AI, tech, leading the world where it is going, we'll definitely be using, and we are already using all these things to have, using tools, applications in a way that more parents and more families get access to our work. They can use our work in their own localized communities and start this at their own level, start this in their own household, among their own relatives, among the kids in their own family. So, yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
That's just simply beautiful. And 10 years from now, if your work spreads enough and you have been able to create resources that is accessed worldwide, at least let's say accessed all over India, what do you think the next generation is going to become or look like 10 years from now?
More sensitive,
Mm.
more planet positive, more conscious. As I said, we don't expect children to all become ecologists, all take up careers in nature. But whatever you do, at least we feel that, there will be a small part in their hearts and minds that will think about their environment and ecosystem before they do anything. Right now, that doesn't happen. So we feel that with our work, at least we'll have a more sensitive generation that has better civic responsibility, that has better civic sense, that has better sensitivity towards their fellow earthlings, right from the dog you have on the street to the
Mm.
wildlife that is there in the forest, the trees that is outside your window. So we feel that sensitivity is what will sort of make the coming generation a little bit more better.
Yep. That is that is so well rounded and such a beautiful way to kind of close this episode. For anybody who is interested in the work that the Youth Cosmo does, please find the link below in the description. Do subscribe to their newsletter, explore some of their games. Nidhi, before we fully wrap up, is there anything else you think I may have missed out on asking, or you've not had the opportunity to share? Please do use this space.
Just one thing that I would like to say that, one prong that probably we missed out in this whole conversation is every child has different types of, every individual has different types of intelligence. Okay, we talk about logical intelligence, we talk about spatial intelligence, we talk about linguistic intelligence, we talk about intelligence as far as sports and movement is concerned. But every individual has a naturalist intelligence too.
Wow.
We feel that that naturalist intelligence is not explored or not given enough exposure because the world is looking at careers that make money,
That's true.
tech, engineering based, medicine based, all these careers that are towards making money or creating good jobs. Nobody's saying you shouldn't, but this should be equally explored. If children are given equal exposure to this side of their personality too, they may have a better idea on what else they can do. You never know, tomorrow there might be a child that wants to do something in conservation using tech. That is absolutely possible. We have a lot of people who are doing that, and that is going to matter a lot going ahead. So we feel that when parents, schools, policy level institutions, I think there has to be a systemic change and systemic shift in how children are being viewed and how they are being brought up. I feel that naturalist intelligence should be given equal recognition and exposure at the same time, and unstructured play should become a central part of a kid's life than just a structure, because they're kids. They're meant to be like that. They're meant to be wild. They're meant to be free. Let them be.
Well, I have nothing else to add. I think that was a beautiful way to sum things up. I had no idea that we all had a naturalist instinct in us. Well, that explains why, in a lot of circumstances, we are asked to rely on our gut, our instinct. And our instinct is actually far more in tune with the nature, with our biology, as opposed to being in tune with the screens or with technology that is around us. And the more our senses are deprived of nature and more in tune with technology, the lesser our instincts become reliable, right? So I think that is a very important message to spread out there, that we need to bring about a systemic level change where we are far more connected to the nature. Kids are allowed to be free, allowed to explore that side to themselves before truly coming back into this world, a techno heavy world, which demands them of productivity, of efficiency, and all of those other things.
I know.
Well, yeah, sorry, go on.
No, nothing much to add there. I mean, you have summed it up really well. And I think that should give a lot of parents and families what they can take, and what they can do at their own level, even in the household. So we'll be more than happy to hear from the parents of your community. If they have any questions, if they would like to do something on their own, we'll be happy to help them get started. They have all our resources which they can access. And yeah, I would love to hear from more parents that are living abroad and see what best we could do for the kids there.
Please check the link out in the bio below and do connect with do connect with the Cosmo team. And I would say go and get their periodicals. I feel like they're so fun. Not just kids, any adult would enjoy just going through such information, going through those puzzles and quizzes. Such a nostalgic reminder of, why we need to get our hands on such things.
Please subscribe to our periodicals. It is worth your time and worth your money, and your kids are going to really love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nidhi. It was
so
a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Deepa, for having me over. It was a lovely chat with you.